हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता
संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा, ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी, वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे, परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर शुभ संदेश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, 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 गीता परिवार हमारा।
अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुरः पाणिर्मधुरः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
हरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीथी मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं
मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनउ रघुवर विमल जसु जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्त न धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय।
जले
संस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा, ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
Jai Shri Krishna. A very warm welcome to all the participants. On behalf of Geeta Pariwar, I, Tanushree Metla, heartily invite you for today's revision, a very enlightening chapter on the occasion of Devothan Ekadasi, where we will learn today on the interpretation of second part of yoga, of discrimination of field and knower of the field. So, my dear participants, if you face any technical issues during the session, you have to follow the instruction mentioned. If there is no sound, plug in headphones or increase the volume of your phone computer. If your chat box blinking continuously, tap on the bell icon at the top right corner to mute notifications. If your voice is breaking, check your internet connection. Use Wi-Fi instead of mobile data. If screen not visible, click on the start video in Zoom. If screen is blurry, it happens to slow internet speed. Try switching your network. If Zoom keep disconnecting, you can also watch the session via the YouTube link provided. Now, we'll move to the prayer. For prayer is formed to connect with God and seek blessings for positivity and calmness to Almighty, Lord Krishna. It is first step for foundation of any journey. For the prayer, I would like to welcome Shaila Theleji from Kolhapur, retired from central government, studied education degree, holds till BSc, B.Ed, serving as a co-trainer from L1, L2, taken 4-5 batches of the same, CV and GC also. Recently worked as GC also in a group coordinator batches also. Joined in November 2021. Welcome Didi for the prayer. Didi, you have to unmute yourself. Yes, Didi.
जय श्री कृष्ण सभी को जय श्री कृष्ण वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण
Jai Shri Krishna, Didi. Very beautiful prayer. Thank you, Didi, for very beautiful and melodious prayer. Now it's time for the deep Prachalan. Lightening a flame makes environment pure, divine, and full of knowledge, and leads to positivity and brightness. For deep Prachalan, I would like to welcome Piyasharani from Bhirampur, Odisha, teacher by occupation holding degree of MSc B.Ed, serving as group coordinator in all the 4 levels, Learngeeta Pariwar since October 2024. Welcome, Didi, for the deep Prachalan.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you, Didi, for the divine and beautiful deep Prachalan. Learngeeta is celebrating Geeta Jayanti Mahotsav from 15th November to 31st December. So it's a humble request to everyone to open the portal. It's open for each one of you. Organize a Parayan, Sobhayatra competition in your locality with your group in your area. Register on the portal and be part of this huge event of the Geeta Jayanti Mahotsav. Now it's time for the most anticipated, most distinguished part of our session. Our speaker of the day, Vikas Vaidya, staying in Pune, beheaded all the 18 Hadhyayas of Gita, and Param Puchya, disciple of Param Puchya Govind Devgiri Ji Maharaj. As a surprise to know that Bhaiya knows languages like Hindi, Marathi, English, Indonesian, Malaysian, and Spanish languages. Trainer in L4, L1 to L4. Involved in trainer selection and trainers training from L1 to L4. Also involved in teaching of Vivachan of Vishnu Sahasranam as a member of Pune Geeta Pariwar. Also guiding students of Geeta practice to prepare for Shrungeri Peeth Geeta exam. I would like Bhaiya for the explanation of Sheta Shetagna Yoga, second part. It is proud welcome to you, Bhaiya. Jai Shri Krishna.
वसुदेवसुदं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण टू ऑल. पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन. We are discussing अध्याय 13th. Last time we discussed first part up to श्लोक number 11. श्लोक 11 was अध्यात्म ज्ञान नित्यत्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानै यततोऽन्यथा. In the preceding 4 shlokas, God has given us 20 virtues by which we can come out of I am body feeling. Right from amanitvam vadambitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthairyatma vinigraha इंद्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनहंकार एव च जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधि दुःख दोषानुदर्शनम् असक्तिर्विशृङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिशौ नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम् इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु. And मयि चानन्य योगेन भक्तिर्व्यभिचारिणि विविक्तदेशसहित्वा मरतिर्जन संसदि. And this was the last one, अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वम् तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानै यततोऽन्यथा. Now this was the Jnana Paramatma says, rest everything is Jnana. Continue further with shlok number 12. God says, ज्ञेयं यत्तत् प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वा अमृतमश्नुते अनादिमत् परं ब्रह्म न सत्तन्नासदुच्यते. Pravakshami, I shall tell you what ought to be known now, what jnana should be known now, knowing which, yajnatva, knowing which, eternity or moksha is attained. This is the beginningless Parabrahma. It is said to be neither Sat nor Asat, neither existent nor non-existent. What does it mean exactly? We'll see that. So this is the word meaning of Neyatat Pravakshami Yajnatma Amritamashvade Anadimat Param Brahma Na Sattan Asaduchyade. Now God is promising Arjuna that he will tell him what ought to be known. This means that all other things are not important to be known. It is only God who must be known. After knowing God, everything else gets known, be it arts, science, whatever. Knowing God, the knower attains eternity, the Parabrahma. He is neither Sat nor Asat, means there is no duality. Sat means absence of Asat, and Asat means absence of Sat. God is beyond this. There is no absence at all in God. Parabrahma is above this, Sat and Asat. It is, like the sun God. There is neither day or night on the sun. Can we say there is night on the sun? It is all the time bright and sun and shining, no? So all the time it is light only on the sun. Day and night are like two sides of the same coin. For one cannot exist without the other. When you talk of day, you have to understand that the inherent meaning is that there is a night also. When you talk of night, you have to understand that there is inherent meaning that the day also exists. Like we have day here, and in USA there will be night. When they have day, we will have night here. So they are the two sides of the same coin. We can only say it is day in that place if the night also falls in that place. But if there is no night, like on the sun, there is no night, then there is no day either, isn't it? Can we say there is day on sun? When we make a statement, there is day on the sun, that means there is a night also on sun, which does not exist. So this becomes beyond Sat and Asat. Beyond day and night, beyond Sat and Asat, there is perpetual light of God. Similarly, in case of Parabrahma, the world existence is not descriptive enough. Shri Krishna says that Parabrahma is beyond the relative terms of Sat and Asat, existence and non-existence. Parabrahma, in its formless and attributeless, Nirgun Nirakar, is the object of worship of Jnanis. In its personal form, as Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Shri Ram, Shiva, etc., it is the object of worship of Bhaktas. Residing within the body, it is known as Paramatma. So there is one which is Nirgun Nirakar, Parabrahma, the one which is residing or which is in the form of Bhagavan Shri Krishna or Bhagavan Shri Ram, it is called the Bhagavan. We say Bhagavan Vacha, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Bhagavan Shri Ram. So that is the Bhagavan form, which is the manifested form. And residing within the body of all, it is called Paramatma. Paramatma. Now all these three manifestations of Parabrahma, Bhagavan and Paramatma are of the same Paramatma. In Adhyaya 14, if you remember, Krishna had said, Brahmano hi pratisthaham. I am the basis of formless Parabrahma. Thus the formless Parabrahma and the personal form of God are both two aspects of the same supreme entity. Both exist everywhere. Hence, they both can be called all-pervading, all-occupying. Now, beyond the attainment of moksha, is there anything to be attained? There is no other. There is no amrut to be attained or eternity to be obtained after one gets moksha. Brahma Jnana is the ultimate truth. God is declaring this to Arjuna in this shloka. It is, like there's a copper barrel, a copper pot, and a copper cup. Three things made of copper. Though different in shapes and size, all are made of the same essence called copper. The underlying element remains one and the same. Similarly, Supreme Parabrahma pervades all beings and all objects, assuming their various forms and names. Like copper as barrel, pot, cup, whatever. Parabrahma, assuming all various forms and names. It is that the same divine essence manifesting differently in each, like the copper existing in all. True knowledge, Jnana, is the only means to realize this eternal truth, to recognize the one beyond the apparent diversity. You may see with your materialized diversity, but Jnana shows you that in that diversity there is unity. The real essence of all is same. One who understands this truth directly, God says, he attains moksha. Merely understanding is not enough. One has to take anubhuti, experience it. The knowledge has to be experiential knowledge, not bookish knowledge. A small anecdote about this copper and other things. Once a young seeker, devotee, he went to a master craftsman who made pots, cups, vessels out of copper. The seeker asked, Master, you make so many different objects, pots, pans, cups, lamps, thalis, whatever. Do you ever get confused about what is what, which is what? The craftsman smiled and said, No, not at all. To me, they are all the same, all are copper. I give them different shapes. Their shapes may differ, but the copper never changes. And I know I am skillful in mending the copper, giving it the proper shape. That is my job. The seeker paused for a moment and then he asked, So, Master, which one do you value the most of all the things that you make out of copper? The big pot or the small cup? Which is more, which you like the most? The craftsman, he laughed. He said, What are you asking? Why should I value one over the other? Whether it is a pot or it is cup, it is all copper for me. What shape to give, that I decide, but it is all copper for me ultimately. The forms come and forms go. I melt the same utensil and make different form. But the copper remains the same. The copper remains the same. At that moment, the seeker's eyes lit up with understanding. Oh, he bowed down deeply and he said, So it is with all beings. All are different in form and name, but the essence within them is the same divine reality. The craftsman, he simply nodded, Yes, what you say is right. The seeker walked away in silence, feeling that he had just understood the heart of Bhagavad Gita's wisdom, that one divine consciousness manifests through all forms. And to see that unity is the true knowledge, is the truth, ultimate truth. Now, since we are talking of anecdote, let us discuss one more anecdote on the same shloka. This is a wonderful one. I like it. Once a small salt doll, खड़ा नमक होता है ना, खड़ा नमक, salt doll, set out on a long journey to measure the depth of ocean. She had heard that her existence was due to the ocean, because the salt comes from ocean. We all know that. So she knew that I have come from the ocean. My origin is from the ocean, and she has heard that from many travelers that the ocean was very vast and immeasurable. But she wanted to know by herself what is truly the ocean is from where I have come. So she reached the shore. She was struck by its beauty. We also get struck when you're standing at the seashore. The waves, the sparkle, the infinite horizon. Filled with curiosity, she stepped into the ocean water. And as you could imagine, with every step, a part of her began to dissolve. Still, she continued deeper and deeper until she was completely immersed in that seawater. At the final moment, she exclaimed joyfully, Now I know what the ocean is. But I no longer exist apart from it. I don't exist anymore now. I have got totally dissolved in this ocean. So the relevance of this small anecdote to this shloka is the salt doll represents the individual jiva, individual soul. The ocean represents the Parabrahma, the ultimate reality that is beyond being and non-being, Sat and Asat. When we know Parabrahma truly, we do not remain separate as the knower. We merge with the infinite, becoming one with it. The knowledge of Parabrahma is not intellectual, as I said, it is experiential, where the knower, the knowledge, and the known become one. So this story beautifully conveys the essence of this shloka, that which is to be known is not something outside us, but it is reality. It is the reality of what we really are. Knowing this leads to immortality, as we realize our oneness with the eternal for Brahma. Okay, continuing with next shloka. Now this shloka and the next shloka may appear a little contradictory. What is the contradiction and what is not? That we'll discuss. Sarvada panipadam tat sarvato kshishiro mukham sarvada shruti malloke sarvamavritya tishtati. Pani is hat, pad is legs, feet. So having hands and feet everywhere. Sarvada panipadam tat sarvato kshishiro mukham. With eyes, great eyes everywhere, minds and mouths everywhere. Sarvada shruti malloke. With great ears everywhere, he exists permeating all. Sarvam avritya tishtati. Now having hands, mouths, ears, eyes everywhere means that all these functions, due to the process of the omnipresent divinity, the power permeating all bits and parts of this universe. Because you can see everything. Often people argue, भगवान किधर हाथ पैर होते हैं? भगवान तो निर्गुण निराकार है. God cannot have hands, feet, eyes, ears, and other body parts like human beings. Shri Krishna says, no. Sarvada panipadanta sarvado kshishro mukham. God has all these, and to an innumerable extent. We would never fall into the trap of circumscribing God within our limited understanding. He can do the possible, he can do the impossible, and he can do the reverse of possible and impossible, both. There is nothing which cannot be done by the God. To say that all pervading God cannot have hands and feet is placing a constraint on him. Is there anything which the God does not have? Is it possible? So he has everything. Keep in mind that the God's limbs and senses are divine, while ours are material. The difference between material and transcendental divine is that we are limited to one set of senses. One set of eyes, one set of ears, like that. God possesses unlimited hands, unlimited legs, unlimited eyes, and unlimited ears. While our senses exist in one place, God's senses are everywhere at the same time. Thus, the God sees everything that happens in the world, hears everything that is ever told or said. This is possible because just as he is all pervading in creation, that means in this universe, his eyes, his ears are also universal and omnipresent. The Upanishad says, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Everywhere is Parabrahma. Hence, he accepts food offering made to him everywhere, anywhere in the universe. At the same time, people offer prasadam, nivedyam to God. He accepts from millions of places at the same time. He hears the prayers of his devotees wherever they are said. Even if you pray him at 12 o'clock in the midnight or 2 o'clock in the midnight or early in the morning, he is hearing your prayers from any corner of the world, of this cosmos. And he is the witness of all that occurs in these three worlds. If a million devotees worship, pay him reverence at the same time, he has no problem accepting it, all the prayers from all of them. Millions can touch his feet at the same time. At millions of places in the universe, he offers his feet to everybody. So in God, who is everywhere, everything is in him. This is, this is like, suppose I take a pen. I take a pen in my hand. This is a pencil, of course. But if I take a pen in my hand, in pen, what we have? Ink we have in the pen. Which script is not there in that pen? What we cannot write with the pen? A man having knowledge of different scripts can write them with the same pen and same ink. Is it that this pen can write only Hindi, English, Marathi? You can write Chinese, Japanese also. In the lump of gold, which ornament is not present? A goldsmith He makes out the lump. He can create any innumerable types of ornament from that lump of gold. Which idol is not there in the clay or in the stone? The sculptor can make any form, any god from that clay or from the stone. Similarly, in God, what is not there? The entire universe is born out of God, stays in Him, and finally merges into Him. When He is at the beginning and He is at the end, then who is there in the middle? Only He. Only He can be there in the middle. But a man, as a leading materialistic life, beholds the universe everywhere. We look at the universe and see that the universe is there everywhere, while a devotee who has understood Bhagavad-Gītā, he beholds Lord everywhere. He imagines the Sarvada Panibhadanta Sarvado Kshishramukam Sarvada Shruti Malloke Sarvam Avrati Tishtati. Whatever I am doing, God is watching that. He is pervading everywhere. Now next shloka is contrary to this. What is shloka? Sarvendriguna Sarvendrivivarjitam Asaktam Sarvabhrishchaiva Nirgunam Guna Bhaktrucha. Now describing Lord as formless and endowed with attributes in earlier shloka, now in the next three shlokas, there is description. In the next three shlokas, there is description of his singularity, spiritual character, all pervasiveness and omnipotence. In this shloka, God says, Sarvendrivanabhasam, Sarvendrivarjitam, Asaktam Sarvabhrishchaiva Nirgunam Guna. Earlier we said, Sarvada Panibhadanta Sarvado Kshishramukam, Sarvada Shruti Malloke Sarvamarti Tishtati. He has hands, legs, feet, eyes, ears everywhere. Now here we say, though he perceives all sense objects, Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, he is devoid of the senses. Sarvendriva Vivarjitam. He has no indriyas. He is devoid of senses. He is unattached to anything. Yet, he is the sustainer of all. Although he is without attributes, yet he is the enjoyer of the three modes of material nature. Sattvarajutam. Having stated that God's senses are everywhere in the earlier shloka, now Shri Krishna states that he has no senses. Sarvendrivarjitam, which is exactly opposite of that. He does not possess any senses. If we try to understand this through our materialistic logic, we find some contradiction in this. Then we'll inquire, how can God have both infinite senses and also be without senses? However, such materialistic logic does not apply to God, who is beyond the reach of intellect. Our intellect is materialistic intellect. God possesses infinite contradictory attributes at the same time. Self and senses. The self, that means our Atma, seems to be present in all senses, but this is only an appearance. It does not need the external senses. God does not need external senses. Human beings, being incomplete, they require senses. We require sight, we require hearing, we require touch, we require taste, we require smell to interact with the world, because we are incomplete. God is not incomplete. Difference between completeness and incompleteness is what? A person having weak eyesight, he needs glasses. A person with good eyesight, 6/6, does he need glasses? No need, no. Similarly, Parabrahma is omniscient. It does not require eyes or any senses. Ordinary beings use their senses for pleasure and enjoyment. Some beings use for spiritual growth also. But Parabrahma's senses are all for the welfare of others, to bring happiness, to bring sustenance, to bring nourishment to the entire world. Parabrahma is detached, unaffected by pleasure and pain. Just as cement cannot rejoice or grieve when it is used to build a bungalow or a hut. Cement has no such feeling, no? Parabrahma remains impartial. However, for the sake of world's welfare, Parabrahma is not completely neutral. It actively sustains all. So the architect and cement of the universe, the instruments and the product, both are Parabrahma. Cause and effect, both is Parabrahma. The instrument is the cause and cause is the instrument. Just as water contains the juice in the form of water itself, so Parabrahma exists in all beings in its true form. So what is the key of this shloka? Parabrahma is omnipresent, detached, impartial, yet actively works for the welfare of all beings. Human requires the senses for enjoyment and development, but Parabrahma does not need them. So is Sarvendriya Varjitam. Everything in creation in this universe, every cause, every instrument is for Brahma only. Upanishads say God does not possess material hands, material legs, material eyes, or material ears, yet he grasps, he walks, he sees, and he hears. Further, Sri Krishna states that he is the sustainer of the creation and yet detached from it. In his form as Lord Vishnu, God maintains the entire universe, entire creation. He sits in the hearts of all living beings. He knows their karmas and gives them the karma phalas, the results. Under Lord Vishnu's dominion, Brahmadeva manipulates the laws of material science to ensure that the universe functions stably. It is Brahmadeva's responsibility. Also under Lord Vishnu's dominion, the celestial gods arranges to provide air, water, and other elements that are necessary for our survival. Hence, God is the sustainer of all. Yet, he is complete in himself and thus is detached from everyone. The Vedas mention him as Atmaram. God is Atmaram. Means one who rejoices in the self and has no need of any external things. The material energy is obedient. Prakriti is his obedient servant. Nature is Paramatma's obedient servant. It's compliant to the God and it works for his pleasure by serving him. So whatever happens in Prakriti is for pleasing the God, serving the God. He is the enjoyer of three gunas of Prakriti, modes of material nature. At the same time, he is also Nirguna. He is Gunatit also, beyond three gunas. Because these gunas are material while God is divine. Nirguna itself became Saguna through Yoga Maya. Shri Krishna Bhagavan, Shri Ram. Nirguna becomes Saguna with Yoga Maya. Nirguna exists in Saguna. Nirguna exists in Saguna and also exists without it. Without form also, the formless exists. In the form, the formless also exists. This means that Nirguna exists both in presence or in absence of Saguna Shri Krishna. The formless Shri Krishna exists in the informed Krishna. The informed Krishna does not exist anymore. Can we see Krishna physically? We don't see. The informed Krishna does not exist anymore, but the formless Krishna, Nirguna Nirakar Krishna, he very much continues to exist. That which exists sometimes and not at all times is the form. Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyaktadananyeva tatraka paridevana. That we read in second Adhyaya. Before birth we were all avyakta. Now vyaktamadhyani, this is our madhya. We are vyakta. After nidhananyeva, we will again become avyakta. So what it exists sometimes and not at all times is the form. And that which exists eternally is the formless. Our soul was there before birth. It is there, of course, now also. And after death also, the soul will continue to exist. So that is the formless form of us. That's why we are also in form and also formless like Lord Shri Krishna. Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyaktandananyeva. Scripture that can compare with Geeta. This is a statement in Guru Granth Sahib. Geeta Sama Nahi Grantha. Granth Sahib says this. So Gita is undoubtedly the champion of all Adhyatmic cause, Adhyatmic literature, Adhyatmic knowledge. Continuing with next sloka, 19th. Now Shri Krishna Bhagavan in this Adhyay has said by describing in brief about Kshetra and Kshetrajna in the first and second slokas. Now Lord is reverting to the same topic of Kshetra and Kshetrajna, but now the context is changed to Prakriti and Purush. Prakriti is the Kshetra, Purush is the Kshetrajna. The shlok says, Prakritim Purushanchaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaranshya Gunanshaiva Vidya Prakriti Sambhavan. Vidya means no. Understand this. Know that the Prakriti, that means the material nature, and it's went through a telescope. Nahi na? So you should experience the God through your awareness. He is far. No, he is not far as you are seeing in the stars. He is not far in the stars. He is in the very consciousness with which you observe the stars. He is in that consciousness with which you are observing the stars. You are looking for him in the stars. He is in your own consciousness with which you are observing those. The scientist was thoughtful. Later that night, sitting silently by the river, he looked at the moon reflected in the water. He suddenly realized the moon was not in the water, yet its reflection was clearly visible everywhere. In the water was still. In the same way, the divine was not separate from creation. He was reflected everywhere. In light, in sound, in movement, in stillness, and above all, in the awareness that perceives all this light, sound, movement, stillness, everything. So he exists in the awareness. So he whispered, the scientist said, indeed, the God is within and without, invisible to the eyes, but visible to the heart. So the Supreme dwells in all things, moving and unmoving, within and without, like space pervading all, like fragrance pervading the flower, like light shining on every surface. To the outward seeker, he seems far. To the inward seeker, he is nearer than the breath. It's up to you how you want to look at God. Next sloka. Avaktyanja bhuteshu vibhaktamiva cha sthitam bhutavarchuta tadniyam grasishna prabhavishnucha. Avibhaktam, he is undivided. Yet, he seems to be distributed over all beings because he is there in all. So you feel as if he is divided. But he is undivided. He is the only object worth knowing. He is the creator, sustainer, and the destroyer of all. So God's personality includes his various energies. All manifest and unmanifest objects are but expansion of his energy. Thus we can say that he is all that exists. Accordingly, Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā says, the various aspects of creation, time, karma, and nature of individual living beings, and the material ingredients of all creations are all parts of the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna himself. There is nothing in existence apart from him. God may appear to be divided among objects of his creation because he is everywhere. But since he is all that exists, he remains undivided as well. For example, space may seem to be divided among the objects that it contains. Yet all objects are in one single entity called space, which manifests at the beginning of creation. Again, the reflection of sun in the so many pots you put on your terrace makes it appear that the sun is divided in hundreds. Yet the sun remains one individual. As the ocean throws up waves and then absorbs them back, similarly, God creates the world, maintains it, and then absorbs it back into himself. Grasishnam pravishnuja. Prabhava grasishnam pravishnuja. So therefore, he may be equally seen as creator, the maintainer, and the destroyer of everything. He who creates is God. He who is created is also God. So this universe is also God. The creator of universe is also God. He who sustains is God. He who is sustained is also God. He who destroys is God. And who is destroyed is also God. There is nothing beyond God. Just as you cannot divide the space, analogously, Parabrahma cannot be divided. With the erection of ball in the house, it seems as if you have divided the space and there is no space at all. But just think, is the space really divided or is it just a visual illusion? When you drill a hole or you hammer a nail in the wall, the space gets created in the wall. That means the space exists, isn't it? So the wall gives the space to the nail. Once, a young disciple observed, he was asked his guru, Gurudev, if God is everywhere, why I cannot see it? Guru said, go to the meditation hall in the night, tonight, go to the meditation hall. There will be no light there. Take this small lamp with you. At night, the disciple entered the hall, dark hall, with lamp in his hand, small lamp. The moment he lit that lamp, the darkness vanished. So the disciple, he felt joy and peace. In the morning, the Guru asked, what did you experience? The disciple said, I realized that even a tiny light can remove the deep darkness. The Guru smiled and said, that light is within you, the light of awareness. When it shines, ignorance disappears instantly. Just as the sun does not need other light to be seen, do we use a torch to see the sun? We don't need anything to see the sun. God needs no other proof. He is self-illuminous, the light of all lights. The disciple, he agreed. So the Lord is not an external light, but the very consciousness by which the light is perceived. He illuminates the mind and intellect just as the sun illuminates the entire world. The wise sees that light shining equally in all hearts. And how it is undivided? One day a teacher who used to take home tuitions, he was teaching geography to his student at his home. It was nearing lunchtime and the teacher was feeling very hungry. He thought he would quickly finish the lesson and leave for his home and take the lunch at home. Just then the student's mother, she came with a dish of khichdi. Khichdi means that rice and lentil for her child. Upon inquiring the teacher whether he would also like to have lunch, the teacher answered that one plate was enough for both of them. One plate of khichdi is enough for both me and my student. Now there was a big inviting blob of ghee on that khichdi. Eyeing it longingly, the hungry teacher had a brain wave. He thought, how can I take this globe of ghee? With his finger, he traced a line in the khichdi, in that plate, saying that ye tumhara hai, ye mera hai. Look, this is India. My side is India. Your side is Pakistan. And he marked the entire portion of that ghee on his side. Ki ye mera hai, ye tumhara hai. Now you take that, I take this. Now the children are not foolish, you know. The child swiftly wiped out the line. The angry teacher asked, what is going on? Why do you wipe out the line? The child answered, the war has broken out between India and Pakistan. Saying this, he shifted all the ghee on his side. Now, would you say that the boundaries really existed? Somebody created manually. Germany, we all know about East Germany and West Germany. Germany used to be known as East Germany and West Germany with a wall, dividing wall between the two. Those who have gone to Germany before that wall was broken, they would remember this. I was fortunate enough to visit in 80s and 90s. I bought a piece of wall also from Berlin. This time they used to sell it for 10 Deutschmark. So when that Berlin wall was broken, it was declared that the divided Germany has now become unified, one Germany. Now, had there actually been any division, or was it only a political partition? So division is only in the mind. There is no real division as such. Similarly, the division is in our mind. He is unified. Next shloka. In the earlier shlokas, the Lord said that he who is worth knowing is creator, sustainer, and destroyer of the entire universe. Now, in this shloka, Lord is explaining that he is the light of all lights. Jyotisham with the Jyotis, tamasa paramuchate, jnanai, jneyai, jnanagamyam, Hridhi sarvasya vishthidam. He is the source of all lights, including the light of sun. No darkness touches him. He is the knowledge. He is the knowable and also the object of knowledge. Jnanai jneyai jnanagamyam. He resides in the hearts of all beings. Hridhi sarvasya vishthidam. The only knowable reality in this universe is the Parabrahma, the God. He is the real light. Every object lights up due to his light. Even the sun shines due to his light. He is beyond all darkness. The only means to know him is through Brahma Jnan or Atma Jnan, which is the secret knowledge and only a God realized Guru can impart it. God is the source of all lights, that means knowledge. The soul is the light of God in all beings. Soul lights up intellect. Intellect lights up mind. Mind lights up senses. And senses light up the sense objects. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Sagandha. See, the theme of last 6 shlokas from 12th till the 17th shloka is that only reality is God. He is the manifest. He is the unmanifest. He is the moving. He is the unmoving. He is the sentient. He is the insentient. He is indivisible, looking divided. He is the only knowable reality. God is like an ice pitcher inside the cold ocean, which means all water inside the pitcher itself, and outside pitcher, ice being water, is all water. The forms are only his variations. Different variations of water are different forms, but ultimately everything is water. The word Jnanagamyam is important here. Jnanagamyam. God is knowable through knowledge, through Jnan, free from ignorance. God is knowledge, free from ignorance. All beings receive knowledge from him. He is worth knowing. He is near, knowable. Because nothing remains to be known after knowing him. All he can be attained by Jnana, Jnanagamyam. We say the prayer every day. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrusham Meghavarnam Shivangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanenam Yogivir Dhyanagamyam. Yogivir Dhyanagamyam. Yogivir Dhyanagamyam. Yogis attain him through Dhyan. So here the term Dhyanagamyam may also mean that he is attained by the 20 virtues which we discussed in last session. Amanitamam Vitmam Hisa Kshantirarjavam Acharupasanam Shojam Serimatmagriya up to Adhyatma Jnana Tattvam Tattva Jnana. So what you realize, what you attain by following these 20 virtues, that is Jnanagamyam. You attain that. Next shloka, 18th. Now, having given a brief description of Kshetra, body, knowledge, and the knowable, that is worth knowing, from slok 1 to 17, the Lord now concludes this topic of Kshetra, Kshetrajna by pointing out the reward of knowing this topic of 13th Adhyay. Iti kshetran tatha ajnanai neyai choktam samasatah madbhakta etad vidnyaya madbhavayo papadyate. Thus the kshetra, that means body, the knowledge, the jnana, and the object of knowledge, that means the knowable, have been briefly described. Choktam samasatah. Knowing this, in reality, my devotees reach me. Madbhakta etad vidnyaya madbhavayo papadyate. Shri Krishna now concludes his description of the field, kshetra, and the object of knowledge by mentioning the fruit of knowing this topic of kshetra and kshetrajna. However, once again, he deems it fit to bring in devotion, bhakta, madbhakta, he says madbhakta. Says that only the bhaktas, devotees can truly understand this knowledge. Madbhakta etad vidnyaya. Bhaktas can understand this. A mere reader will not understand this. Need to be a bhakta, devotee. Those who practice karma, jnana, yoga, but are still devoid of bhakti, cannot understand the importance of Bhagavad-Gītā. So they themselves may think, yes, I understood Gita. I read Gita and I understood. Bhakti is essential. To understand Gita, or for that matter, any spiritual literature, bhakti is essential. Bhakti is essential. It's an essential ingredient in all the paths. which leads to the knowledge of God. It is said that the work which is done in devotion to the God is the real karma. That devotional work is the real karma. That knowledge which increases the love for God is the real knowledge. Devotion not only helps us to know the God, it also makes the devotee God-like. So when you offer devotion to the God, a day comes when we also become God-like. And Shri Krishna states that devotees attain his nature, mad bhavayo papadyate, through mad bhakta. So Krishna says, my bhaktas who attain this jnana, they become like me only. Mad bhavayo papadyate. They attain my nature. This has been repeatedly emphasized in Vedic literature also, Vedic scripture also. The Vedas state that bhakti alone can lead us to the God. Bhakti alone can make us see the God. Bhakti alone can bring us in presence of God. God is under the control of bhakti. God is under the control of bhakti. Hence, do bhakti exclusively. That is what Vedas also say. Upanishads say, those who engage in bhakti towards the Supreme Divine, giving up all material desires, escape the cycle of life and death. That much importance is attached to bhakti in Vedas and Upanishads. Shri Krishna Bhagavan is saying the same thing. Mad bhava yopapadyate. Those who have unflinching bhakti towards God, identical bhakti towards the Guru, in the hearts of such saintly persons, by grace of God, the importance of Vedic scriptures are automatically revealed. The God is automatically revealed. In Bhagavata, Shri Krishna says, Uddhava, I am not attained by Ashtanga Yoga, by study of Sankhya Yoga, by cultivation of scriptural knowledge, by austerities, tapas, or by renunciation, sannyas. It is only by bhakti that I am won over. In Gita also, Bhagavan Krishna has said this repeatedly. You see 8th Adhyay, 22nd slok. You see 11th Adhyay, 54th slok. And in the 18th Adhyay also. That only loving devotion does one know who am I. Only by loving devotion. Then having come to know me, my devotees enter into my full consciousness. This statement has been made in 3-4 places in Gita. 8th Adhyay, 11th Adhyay, 18th Adhyay. Ramayana also says, the Supreme Lord or the Supreme Lord Ram is only attained through love. Let this be truth. Let this truth be known to all who care to know the truth. What is the truth? That the Supreme Lord Ram is only attained through love, through bhakti. And it's not only our Sanatana Dharma. Guru Granth Sahib of Sikh people, it says, there is a statement in Guru Granth Sahib that there is no personality like God. There is no path equal to the path of devotion. There is no human equal to the Guru. And there is no scripture that can compare with Geeta. This is a statement in Guru Granth Sahib. Geeta Sama Nahi Grantha. Granth Sahib says this. So Geeta is undoubtedly the champion of all Adhyatmic cause, Adhyatmic literature, Adhyatmic knowledge. Continuing with next sloka, 19th. Now Shri Krishna Bhagavan in this Adhyay has said by describing in brief about Kshetra and Kshetrajna in the first and second slokas. Now Lord is reverting to the same topic of Kshetra and Kshetrajna, but now the context is changed to Prakriti and Purush. Prakriti is the Kshetra, Purush is the Kshetrajna. The slok says, Prakritim Purushanchaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaranshya Gunashchaiva Vidya Prakriti Sambhavan. Vidya means no. Understand this. Know that the Prakriti, that means the material nature, and Purush, the individual soul, are both beginningless, Anadi. Know also that all changes, Vikar is all changes, transformations of the body and 3 modes are born of Prakriti. Vikaramsha Gunashchaiva Vidya Prakriti Sambhavan. The material nature is called Maya or Prakriti. As an energy of God, because Maya is also God is Maya only. So it is the energy of God only. It has existed ever since the God has existed. And God is existing Anadi. So God says Prakriti and Purush, they are both Anadi. The soul is also eternal. And it is called Purush here, the living entity. While the God himself is called Param Purush, supreme living entity is Param Purush, God. While the soul, which is Purush, is also existing Anadi. The soul is also an expansion of the energy of God. Vedas say the soul is a fragment of Jiva Shakti, soul energy of God. While material energy is an insentient energy. The Jiva Shakti is the sentient energy. It is the divine and intransmutable, something which cannot be changed. It remains unchanged through different lifetimes. The soul energy, Jiva Shakti, remains unchanged through different lifetimes, the different stages of each life. The 6 stages through which the body passes in one lifetime, these 6 stages are Asti. Asti means existence in the womb of the mother. Then Jayate. Jayate means birth. So first, existence in the mother's womb, then Jayate, birth, then Vardhate, growth. That means Ubharti Jindagi, Vardhate. Then procreation, process of creation of new babies, Prajanan. And then Apakshiyate. That means shrinkage, reduction in the body, importance. Importance is shrinking, body shrinking. That we called Jindagi ki dhalan. Abhi Jindagi dhalan pe hai. And last is Vinashanti, that is the death. So these 6 changes are brought about in the body by Prakriti or by Maya. It creates 3 modes of nature, Sat, Prajotamo, and their countless variations and combinations. The Trigunamayi, Sat, Prajotamo, Gunamayi Prakriti, Shri Krishna says, the Prakriti to be beginningless and the endless. It is eternal. It is just because sometimes elements manifest as form, they become formless and then again become form. Thus the cycle continues eternally. We read this again in Gita, 2nd Adhyaya. Avyakta adini bhutani vyakta madhyani varata avyakta nidana niyama tatra ka paridevana. What is more, the experience of Prakriti, that is the Kshetrajna, is also beginningless. The experiencer of Prakriti, that means Kshetrajna, Purush, is also beginningless. He is also Anadi. The game continues eternally. The clay remains at all times, just the form of the toys made from that clay keep on changing. The clay exists eternally, and the enjoyer of the toys, the experiencer of the toys, he also continues to exist eternally. Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, know that the entire phenomenal world emanates from Prakriti. This includes all objects of 5 senses, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, our body, mind and intellect. All that you perceive through 5 senses, know them to emerge from Prakriti. Prakriti Guna Sambhavan. And what you say about the amazing array, the kaleidoscopic, vibrant diversity of this objective world. God is truly amazing. The variations of Sattva, Raja, Tamo we see only 3 gunas, but the variations we see in all the population of this universe is amazing. A tiny seed sowed in the ground transforms into a gigantic tree. Look at the towering proportion of people tree or banyan tree. In Calcutta, there is a banyan tree, a people tree, Ashwatha Vriksha, which has spread over 4 acres of land. 4 acres of land. Then you have the fantastic mind-boggling complexity of the human body. So complex, consisting of billions of nerves and over 7 trillion cells. Our body consists of 7 trillion cells. And where does this come from? From a microscopic, very, very tiny ovum and sperm. 1 drop or even less than 1 drop of ovum and 1 drop of sperm creates all this body of 7 trillion cells and billions of nerves. It's an incredible play of Prakriti. Unbelievable, but true. We practically see it happening. We have ourselves created some of these phenomenal bodies ourselves, isn't it? But we are using this beautiful gift of God, are we using the way He expects us? Are we learning lessons from the Prakriti or from the nature and improving our day-to-day behavior? In one of the sessions, we have discussed about 7 lessons that we can learn from pencil in our life. We discussed about this pencil, what we can learn from the pencil, isn't it? In one session we have discussed. So the same pencil is reminding me a small story about life lesson along with its companion, the eraser. The pencil sat silently on the desk, lines of words flowing from its tips. Pencil keeps writing. Each stroke looked bold, yet every so often hesitation crept in, leaving behind crooked letters and misplaced thoughts. The eraser, watching quietly, finally whispered, "You seem troubled. You are writing something wrong. Not so good." The pencil frowned, got angry. He said, "I wish you stop interfering in what I do. Every time I try to write, you show up and take the pieces of me away. You erase it. I write something, you erase it." The eraser's voice trembled, but he stayed gentle and he said, "I don't take from you, I take from your mistakes. So your story shines brighter. I remove the mistakes which you make while writing, so that your story shines brighter." The pencil snapped. And that in a bitterness in her tone, pencil said, "Easy for you to say this. You are slowly disappearing with every correction. Every time you correct me, with you, we know the eraser gets also reduced, no? With every erasing that we do with it. And one day you will be gone. You go on correcting me, okay, fine. But every day you will keep on erasing. One day you will be gone." The small, soft smile formed on the eraser's worn face. And is not that beautiful? To give a little of myself to your journey, to cleanse your journey, to make it more clearer, more easy to read, is it not a beautiful thing to do? Okay, I am sacrificing myself. I am getting reduced with every erasion that I do. But it's not a beautiful thing. The pencil felt quiet, guilt sinking in her mind. After a pause, it whispered, "But I too feel smaller with every word I write." Pencil also gets reduced with every word it writes. We are both fading. The eraser leaned closer to the pencil and said in tender and calm, "There may be fading for both of us. Maybe it means we are being used for what we are created. You are created for writing. I am created for correcting. You write, I correct. Together we leave behind something worth keeping." What could be more meaningful for us then? The pencil's sharpness softened. "And all this time," she said, "I thought you were against me. But now I know you and me are together. You were always with me." The eraser nodded. It said, "Always. Even it cost me my life, I am always with you. I will keep on correcting. You keep on writing, I will keep on correcting. This is the way to live the life." So each day, each moment, let us learn something. But if our time, our energy, our sacrifices make someone else's path lighter, easier, more beautiful, if our presence leaves behind the words of love instead of stains and of regrets, then disappearing is not the end for us. It's the fulfilling. If we spend our life like that eraser or that pencil, so what we can do, what we can learn from this pencil and eraser, you can always write joy in people's lives. The one who gently erases is their pain. So you can write joy with the pencil and erase their pain in the life. As a pencil, you could write joy in their lives, and as an eraser, you erase their pains in the life. Because both are needed. Joy is needed and erasing of pain is also needed. Both matter. Next loka. कार्यकरण कर्तृत्वे हेतु प्रकृतिरुच्यते पुरुषः सुख दुःखानां भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते. This is wonderful. In the matter of creation, the material energy is responsible for the cause and effect, prakriti. In the matter of experiencing happiness and distress, the individual soul is declared responsible. करता कोई है, भरता कोई और है. This shloka is somewhat difficult to understand and its meaning is quite intricate. Shri Krishna explains how the Prakriti, the nature, and the Purush, the spirit or consciousness, they work. Both of which are eternal, are related to each other. How they are related. The original Prakriti consists of 16 modifications. We know that. The 5 organs of action, Karmendriya, the 5 organs of perception, that is Dhanendriyas, the 5 objects of senses, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, sound, touch, form, taste and smell, and the mind. So the 16 form the original Prakriti. Along with these, there are 7 causes: ego, ahankar, intellect, buddhi, and the 5 great elements, Mahabhut, Panchamahabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. All the activity and dynamism seen in this world are said to arise from these causes. These elements cause what is happening in the world. Purush, on the other hand, the Atma, the self, the conscious principle that presides over Prakriti, is experiencer of the pleasure of pain or pain. Prakriti is doing it with all these constituents, what we discussed. But the resulting pain or pleasure is sustained by the Purush. Thus the Lord says, Purush becomes the cause for the experience of happiness and sorrow that arise through contact with Prakriti. The modifications of the senses of body, the vikars of the body, along with the ego and the dualities of pleasure and pain and delusion, all arise from Prakriti. In other words, in Prakriti, both intellect, buddhi, desire, ichha, kamana, they exist. Prakriti is the holder of buddhi and kamana, which together give rise to the ego, aham. And once this sense of I arises, the jiva begins to chase the desired object. Because now it has the kamana, it has the intellect, and it has the aham also. So it starts chasing the desires. They become outward expressions of Prakriti itself. Whatever karmas are done later on, using the senses, mind, intellect. When desires and longings arise in the mind, the jiva begins to pursue their fulfillment. This activity takes place through the senses directed by the mind. Senses do not have their own mind. It is the mind which directs the senses. The motivating impulse that flows from the mind to the organs of action is called kartrutva. It is mind that instructs senses to do something, and we call that thing as kartrutva. Maine kiya hai, I have done it. And the experiencer of pleasure and pain that arise from the actions, that so-called kartrutva, and the current are experienced by the Purush. Indirectly, Prakriti is the real cause of all worldly activities. Considering himself as the doer through the senses, the Purush, the self, experiences the pleasure, the pain and delusion that originate from Prakriti actually. Purush is not doing anything. It is done by Prakriti, but the resulting pain or pleasure or delusion is to be suffered by the Purush. That means, as long as pleasure and pain continue to arise, Prakriti keeps functioning, while the Purush merely witnesses and experiences their results. He is helpless. Though he does not act himself, Purush does not act himself, the Kshatrajna, the knower of field, becomes the indirect cause of all these experiences. Sant Dhaneshwar Maharaj has given a beautiful illustration for this. He compares Prakriti to wife and Purush to the husband. Just as wife gives birth, that means creates the world, the husband only partakes or enjoys the result. She sustains all the pain for giving the birth. The husband only partakes or enjoys the world, the result. Yet, despite this interaction, there is no real conjugal relationship between Purush and Prakriti. Eternally they are distinct. Eternally they are distinct. We can discuss this with a small example later on. The material energy under the direction of Brahmadeva, the creator of Srishti, creates various elements and forms of life that compose the creation, this universe. Brahmadeva makes the master plan. The material energy, that means the Prakriti, executes the plan of Brahmadeva. The Vedas state that there are 84 lakh yonis. 84 lakh yoni hai na? 8.4 million species of life in the material world. All these forms are transformations of material energy. All Prakriti created yonis. Hence, material energy, material nature is responsible for the cause and effect in this world. The soul gets the body, that means the field of activity, the kshetra, according to its parts karmas. Do the good karma, get good birth, good body. Do bad karmas, go in the lower species. And the pleasure of the bodily senses, it is sustained. When the senses come in contact with the sense objects, the mind experiences pleasurable sensation. Since the soul identifies with the mind, its activity, it actively enjoys that pleasurable sensation. When the sensation is favorable, it enjoys that. In this way, the soul perceives the sensation of both pleasure and pain through the medium of senses, mind, and intellect. This can be compared with a dream state. In Ramayana, there is a chopai, यही विधि जग आश्रित रही यद्यपि असत्य देता दुख अहि जो सपने सिर कटे कोई बिन जागे न दुरी दुख होई. This world is sustained by the God. यह विधि जग आश्रित रही. The world is sustained by God. It creates an illusion which, although unreal, gives misery to the soul. यद्यपि असत्य देखा दुख अहि. This is just like if someone's head gets cut in the dream. जो सपने सर कटे कोई. If someone's head gets cut in the dream, the misery will continue until the person wakes up and stops dreaming. बिना जागे न दूरी दुख होई. In this dream state of identification with the body, the soul experiences pleasure and pain, as we experience that in the dream, based on its past and present karmas. As a result, it is said to be responsible for both the kinds of experiences. And when we are awake from the dream, when we disassociate ourselves from I am body feeling, that is waking up from the dream, then there is no pain. Like in the dream, we saw somebody's head getting cut. So very painful, no? But when he wakes up, oh, I'm okay, nothing is. So likewise, when we are in the dream state, when we are identifying ourselves with the body, we have all the pain, pleasure, pain, everything. But when we disassociate ourselves from the body, that means we come out of the dream, then there is no pain. So remember, you cannot prevent the occurrence of pleasurable or painful events in your life. That is a fact of life. People follow all the requirements stipulated for entering into the temple, removing their shoes, washing their hands and legs, and stand and follow everything that the priests ask them to do. Yet, unwanted, unpleasant event do occur. सब मंदिर में जाते हैं, उनके घर में कुछ अशुभ होता नहीं है क्या? Their relatives also die. Their near ones also die. And then they start blaming the God. रोज मंदिर जाता हूँ फिर भी God नहीं है फिर यार. There is no God. Else why would my so and so would have died? And that too after all I did to God. They exclaim in despair. This is the story of all of us. People act as per their prakriti, as per their own gunas of prakriti, sattva, rajata, moha. And what is prakriti? It is the nature. Shri Krishna says, this prakriti is beginningless and eternal. Now, what is the relationship with our day-to-day life? Small story. Once there was a farmer who owned a vast, fertile piece of land. Every day, he plowed the soil. He sowed the seeds and irrigated the field. The rain, sunlight, and earth all working together nicely. Soon the field began to bloom with the crops. The farmer was very happy. When the harvest season came, the farmer rejoiced at seeing the golden field swaying in the wind. Beautiful sight it is. But sometimes the weather was harsh. Every time weather is not good. Sometimes it becomes harsh also. Storms destroyed his crops, or the droughts ruined the soil. In such times, the farmer felt sadness and frustration. One day, observing his behavior for a few seasons, his wise sage was passing, and he asked the farmer, "Why are you happy when the crops are good, and you are sad when they all fell, your crops fell?" The farmer replied, "Because my livelihood depends on that. If the crops is good, my livelihood depends on that. If it does not come, we see so many farmers committing suicide also, no? Very tragic." The sage smiled. He said, "My dear son, your land and the natural forces, that means the rain, the soil, the sunlight, all are Prakriti. They are all Prakriti. They perform their duties as per their nature. You, the farmer, are merely the Purush, the one who experiences the joy of or success or the pain of loss. The work is done by nature. Sometimes the weather becomes incremental, bad weather. So weather is doing its job. All the other constituents are doing their job, but you have to suffer. Prakriti does, Purush has to suffer. This is the example. The work is done by nature, but the experience belongs to you. You are not done, but you have to suffer. The farmer pondered over this truth. He realized that he was not the doer of actions. उसने drought नहीं लाया, उसने excess rain नहीं कराया. Nature was doing that. His role was only of that of a witness or experiencer of the result of Prakriti's actions. From that day, he started working differently, but diligently, but without any attachment to the results. Because he knew that the result is not in my hand. I have to sustain whether the pleasure or pain depending upon the action of the Prakriti, the nature. The moral of the story is, just as the field, Prakriti, produces the crops through natural process, and the farmer, the Purush, only experiences the joy and sorrow of the outcome. Prakriti is the cause of all actions and movements, while Purush merely experiences the results, happiness or sorrow, whatever. True wisdom lies in understanding this distinction, that everything is not in your hand. It is the Prakriti. You are only merely responsible for facing the pleasure or pain. You cannot create your own pleasure or pain. Prakriti will decide. So the wisdom lies in understanding this distinction of the job of Prakriti and the responsibility of Purush, and living in detachment, performing one's duties as a witness and not as a doer. When you start doing it as a doer, then you get attached to the result of the karma, which puts us in problem. Okay, next look at 21st. Purusha prakristho hi bhungte prakritijan gunan karanam gunasangosya sadasadyo nijanmasu. The Purush who is rooted in Prakriti, he experiences the effects of Prakriti caused pleasure and pain. This we have understood. That Prakriti acts and the resulting pain or pleasure is to be sustained by the Purush. It is due to Purush attachment to these effects of Prakriti that Purush takes birth in pure or impure bodies. That is what Sri Krishna says in this shloka. Karanam guna sangasyo sadasadevani janmasu. Because we get attached to the gunas of Prakriti, that becomes the reason for us to take birth again and again. By definition, the soul is all pure. Here we have to carefully distinguish between the soul and the being. Soul is all pure. Being is due to the presence of soul in the body. This is being. All our personality, mind, intellect, body. This is the being. The soul is sitting in this being. The being is there due to the presence of soul in the body. being exists only because the soul is in it. No life is possible without the soul. All consciousness, all awareness of the being is due to the presence of soul in the being. It is, in fact, the being, the unenlightened, who experiences the gunas of the Prakriti and renders himself liable for higher or lower birth. Not the soul. The being. The soul being in the body of a being, therefore, is always there, whether the birth of a being will be in the higher species or in the lower species, out of all that 84 lakh species. In the previous shloka, Shri Krishna explained that the Purush, that means soul, is responsible for the experience of pleasure or pain. Now he explains how this is so. Considering the body to be the self, the soul energizes it into the activity that is directed at enjoying the bodily pleasures. Since the body is made of Maya, it seeks to enjoy the material energy that is made of these three modes of Prakriti, Sat, Praja, Tamo. Due to the ego, the soul identifies itself as the doer and enjoyer of the body. The body, mind, and intellect, they keep performing their activities. But the soul is responsible for this. Just as a driver, not the wheels or the steering or the brakes, is held answerable in case of an accident of the bus or car. Similarly, the soul, or rather the senses, the mind and intellect, are energized by the soul, and soul is held responsible. They work under its dominion. Hence, soul accumulates all karmas for all activities performed by the body. आपने एनर्जी दी ना बॉडी को, आप सफर करो. You identify yourself with the body, na? I am body, mind, senses, intellect. Now face the consequences. This inventory of karmas accumulated from innumerable past lives causes its repeated birth in the superior or inferior wombs. So this is Devani Janmasu. Also our karma, our kamanas, like we have kamanas many times. I will attain such and such thing in life. I will build a big house, or I will become famous, or I am superior to others, or I will show him how low they are and how high I am, and so on and so forth. So many things we keep in mind. Such desires arise in the mind, and the soul considers these as his desires. So the desires arising in mind, the soul considers as his desires, because he is identifying to the mind, body, intellect. And then inevitably, it has to take repeated births for the fulfillment of those desires, which are actually coming in the mind. But the soul is identifying with the mind. So the soul thinks these are my desires. Isn't it quite risky to carry such thoughts or such desires in life? If they become a cause entrapping you in the cycle of birth and death, what can be the reasons for dispute between our loved ones? And how we can get rid of it? A teacher was teaching his students in the class. When the two of the students started quarreling, seeing their quarrel, the teacher asked, "What is the matter? Why are you fighting? Why are you two fighting like this?" "Sir, he is just not listening to me. He is adamantly stuck to his own point," one student said. "Sir, why should I listen to him? What he is saying is wrong. So what is the point in listening to him?" Other student said. Then both of them started fighting again. To reconcile the two, the teacher called them, "Come here." Then he asked the students to stand on each side of his desk, the table where he was sitting. The teacher took out a ball from his desk and placed in the center of the desk. Then he said to both the students, "Look at this ball and tell me what color it is." "It is a white ball, sir," one student said. The other said, on the right side of the table who was standing, he said, "No, sir, it is a black ball." See, this fellow is again saying the wrong thing. What is black? He is saying white. When I can see it is a black ball, he says, "No, this is white." What is this? He is only wanting to find only. Both had entirely different answers for the same ball, but both were firm on their own point. Again, there was an argument between them. "Tum jhut bol raha hai, tum jhut bol raha hai." The teacher calmed them both and asked them to change their places. "Aap idhar jao aur aap idhar aao," right and left. Now look at the ball and tell me what color it is. So the student who was earlier saying that it is white, he started saying it is black. And the student who was saying it is black, he started saying it is white. So by this time, they were themselves surprised with their own answers. Now the first student said, "Sir, the ball is black," while the other said, "Sir, the ball is white." The teacher explained to them, "This ball is made of two colors. It looks white from one side and black when viewed from the other side. Both your answers are correct. The only difference is in your view. From where you are looking at this ball, you see it as such. Life is like that. In life also, the attitude or perception of looking at the things, situations, or problems can be different. Everybody's viewpoint can be different. It is not necessary that someone whose opinion differs from you is wrong. It is just a difference of point of view. In such a situation, instead of getting into an argument, we can try to understand the other's point of view. Only then we'll be able to understand someone's opinion better and also be able to explain our better. Both the students understood what the teacher was trying to explain. So the circumstances may be different in life. People's attitude towards those situations can be different. We often give comments without knowing the circumstances and get stuck to our own point of view. ऐसा ही है ये. In such cases, a situation of dispute or argument is created, and which eventually becomes the reason for spoiling the relationship. Therefore, before passing our comment on any matter, if we get good knowledge about the situation or about the matter itself, and in case of a difference of opinion, if we try to understand the other's point of view, then the disputes of our life will turn into a better dialogue. So why not to live life like this? Trying to understand others' point of view. So there may be difference in opinions, but there should not be difference in the hearts. Political people use this phrase. मतभेद इज ओके, मनभेद नहीं चाहिए, ऐसा पॉलिटिकल लोग बोलते हैं ना. मतभेद ठीक है, मनभेद नहीं चाहिए. When I change myself, my perception of the world will change accordingly. The glasses that I look through, if they are yellow, the world will appear yellow to me. If the glasses I use are red, the world will appear red to me. Similarly, if my heart is pure, the world will also look pure to me. So to carry a desire that इसको मैं सीधा करूंगा, I will straighten this guy, make him accept my point of view, come what may. This thought can become a cause for rebirth. Therefore, leave things and proceed. Don't carry the burden, as you may have to take this burden to the next life. To fulfill that, I will straighten you. You may take birth to straighten him. You will also have to take birth to get straightened from you. Why to get involved in such game? Okay, last shloka, which is a wonderful shloka. Upadrashta namanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwarah paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purushah parah. Now listen to this shloka very, very carefully. Upadrashta namanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwarah paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purushah parah. Within the body also resides the Supreme Lord. He is said to be the witness, Upadrashta, the permitter, Anumanta, the supporter, Bharta, the transcendental enjoyer, Bhokta, and the ultimate controller, the Paramatma, Maheshwar. So these are all the different roles of God who is situated in our body, in us. Shri Krishna has explained the status of the individual soul within the body in this shloka. Now in this shloka, he explains the position of Paramatma and his different roles in us. Shri Krishna previously mentioned that the Paramatma, that means Kshetrajna Chapyamavadi Sarva Kshetrashu Bharata. I am the Kshetrajna of all Kshetras. And he stated that the individual soul is the knower of individual body, while Supreme Brahma, Supreme Soul, is the knower of all infinite bodies in the universe. The Supreme Soul, which is located within everyone, also manifests in the personal form as Lord Vishnu. Upanishads explain this beautifully well. Upanishad says, wonderful story, huh? Two birds are seated in the nest. Here the nest is our heart. In our heart, two birds are seated. And the nest is where? In the tree. On the tree, tree means our body. On the tree, there is a nest. On the body, there is a heart. In the heart, there are two birds sitting. They are soul, Jivatma, and Paramatma. One bird is Jivatma, another bird is Paramatma. The Jivatma has misunderstood itself as the body and has its back towards the Paramatma. He is busy enjoying the fruits of the body, fruits of this tree. That is, he is doing his own karmas. When the results is good, he is happy. When the fruits are sweet, he becomes happy. When it is bitter, the fruit is bitter, he becomes sad. And he is having his back towards Paramatma. He is engaged only in testing the fruit on the body, that is on the tree. Paramatma is a friend of Jivatma. But he does not interfere. He simply sits and watches. He is watching only. If the Jivatma can only turn around to Paramatma, all his miseries will come to an end. The Jivatma has been bestowed with the free will. You are free to do whatever you want. That is freedom to turn away or to turn towards the God. We have that freedom, no? Who has compelled us to read Gita? Nobody compels us. We are free. You can go for a movie or you can attend a Gita class. Who is forcing you? Nobody. We have a free will. But by improper use of that free will, the Jivatma put itself in the bondage. By learning its proper usage, it can attain the eternal and experience the infinite bliss. This shloka is of great importance. Upadrashtanumantaja bharta bhokta meshara paramatmiticha pikto dehesmin purusha paraha. The Supreme Self, the Paramatma, dwelling in the body, expresses himself as the Supreme Being or Maheshwara. He resides near the intellect, buddhi, witnesses all its activities. Whatever actions the jiva performs through the body and senses, he simply observes it. So this is the Upadrashta role of God in us, providing energy and nourishment to all the organs. He silently experiences the joy and sorrow that arises through the intellect. In the beginning, Paramatma acts only as Upadrashta, mere witness. Like a person sitting beside the driver in the car, he only witnesses the journey. Whether the driver is driving right, wrong, well, carelessly, he does not interfere. His very presence enables life to function, but he remains neutral. If the driver errs, makes mistake, he gives inner inspiration, what we call anta prerana, wo milti hai, humko bhi milti hai, when we are doing something wrong in life. Yet, he never forces. Anta prerana also never forces. We go many times against our anta prerana also, no? So the God never forces. He gives us anta prerana. He gives us the inner inspiration. However, when a person becomes sattvic and performs righteous actions, the Lord's role transforms. Just as a loving mother becomes hopeful upon seeing her child's progress, the God then becomes Anumanta. Upadrashta becoming Anumanta. The one who approves. Ha, lage raho, what you are doing is good. I approve it. Do it. Anumanta. He encourages and even assists the devotee in this role. If the devotees face difficulties, the God extends his hand to support him. As the devotees grow purer and purer, the God assumes the role of Bharta, Upadrashta, Anumanta, and third role is Bharta. The nourisher and protector, Bharta means. He personally takes charge of devotees' welfare and the devotee begins to feel his living experience within himself. परमात्मा की अनुभूति आना शुरू हो जाता है. When Paramatma becomes Bharta in us, when the devotee's mind becomes free of desires and acts only for the God's sake, the Lord becomes Bhokta. So Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, and now Bhokta, the enjoyer. He no longer remains a distant witness, but becomes a companion, partaking in every experience through the devotee's body. This is a sacred stage, God experiencing through our body, where God himself experiences through his devotee. So that is Bhokta. Finally, even the subtlest of thoughts and desires are surrendered to God, he manifests as Maheshwar in us. Upadrashta, Hanumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, and finally Maheshwar, the Supreme Lord. The devotee's mind, intellect, and senses now belong to God entirely. From Upadrashta to Maheshwar, the Lord's role evolves in direct proportion of the devotee's inner evolution. If you are climbing the stair of spirituality, if you climb one step, God will climb his step. From Hanumanta, he will become Upadrashta will become Hanumanta, then Bharta, then Bhakta, then Maheshwar ultimately. This reveals a profound principle of Bhagavad Gita which we should all remember. As one behaves, so does the Lord respond. As one behaves, so does the Lord respond. This is the basic principle of Bhagavad Gita. If the God remains only as a witness in someone's life, he does not interfere with his actions. Karne do. I am only a witness. Many people in suffering, they question then, where is God? Why does not he help me? But mere ritual worshipping the God, reading some Adhyatmic literature only, or offering flowers, or doing some fast here and there, is not enough. These are, of course, karmakand, these are preparatory things for mental purification and concentration. They are also required. But when a person's bhakti, yoga, or selfless karma, they align, God's role transforms from passive upadrashta to active maheshwara. As the devotee's consciousness refines, the divine response also deepens. In summary, the Lord within us watches all our actions. Initially, he is the witness, upadrashta. As one acts righteously, he becomes the approver, Hanumanta, then the protector, Bharta, then the co-experiencer, Bhokta, and finally the Supreme Lord, Maheshwara. This is the sacred union of soul and Supreme, what we call as oneness of Jiva and Shiva. So our Jiva and Shiva becomes one, that is Maheshwara. To know this, one small anecdote and we'll end today's session. There was a young man called Raghav, an ambitious professional who always was in a hurry, like today's professionals. Rushing for meetings, chasing success in life, and taking impulsive decisions. He believed he alone controlled his destiny. One evening, while driving home late, he was exhausted but refused to slow down. His father, an old spiritual man, sat quietly beside him in the car. Seeing his son's Raghav's impatience, he said nothing. He was just observing. Upadrashta. As they neared a steep curve, Raghav's phone rang. Mobile bajta hai na car chalate samay. Distracted, he almost lost control over the car, and he knew that he was losing the control over the car. With fear in his eyes, he looked for help to his father. His father grabbed the steering wheel and steadied it, saving both their lives. Raghava, the son, he stopped the car, trembling. His father smiled gently and said, "Do you see, my son? Most of the time, I just was sitting beside you, watching you quietly. I am your Upadrashta, the witness. I never interfere how you drive your life or your car. But when danger comes and you lose your balance, and when you allow me to touch the wheel, I become your Hanumanta, your Bharta, and your Maheshwara." He continued, "As long as you believe that you are the only driver, I can only watch. But the moment you look for help and you surrender the control to me, I take over and will guide you to the safety." Tears swelled up Raghav's eyes. He understood what his father truly meant, not only for driving, but about the life itself. Paramatma resides within, silently witnessing our actions. He does not interfere until we invite him to do so through our devotion, through surrender, and through awareness. The moment we let go our ego and say, "Lord, please guide me," he transforms from silent witness, Upadrashta, to the divine protector and guide, Maheshwara. So the moral of the story is, God never forces himself on our lives. He patiently watches, waiting for our trust, our devotion, our Shraddha. And when we surrender with love and faith, he takes the wheel in his hand. And then we are never lost again in our life. So this is this Upadrashtanumantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmiti Chaptikto Tehesmin Purusha Paraha. Thank you so much for your patience hearing. Now the floor is open for your questions. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Bhaiya, for explaining very carefully the Kshetra Kshetrajna Yoga. Now it's time for the Krishna answer session. So please, everyone, on your videos and raise your hand and wait for a chance to come for the Krishna answer session.
Okay. Any questions? If you have any questions, you can ask now. Or if you want to reserve the questions to the next session, that is also okay.
Anyone have any questions, any query questions you can ask to Bhaiya? It's forum is open for all for the question session.
Okay. Okay, so let us remember this last shloka particularly. Upadrashtanumantacha Bharata Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmiti Bhikto Dehesmin Purusha Paraha. The response of God depends on our devotion. He can rise himself from Upadrashta only, witness to up to Maheshwar in us. It depends on us. How to change the role of God depends on our karmas. That is the great teaching of Bhagavad-Gītā. This shloka particularly. Upadrashtanumantacha Bharata Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmiti Bhikto Dehesmin Purusha Paraha. So such wonderful shlokas are there. The more we ponder, the more we do Manan Chintan, contemplation of these shlokas, the more rich we become in our thoughts, in our actions, our karmas, and go more and more ahead on the path of spirituality. So thank you so much again for all of you. And
Yes,
we'll meet in the next
Balakrishna ji,
session
you can
again.
ask your question.
Jai Shri Krishna, Bhai.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Today's devotion was so excellent that I do not have any doubt. I could understand everything. I am
Yeah.
very much grateful to you. Today's devotion was so excellent and very so clear that I have no doubt to ask any question.
Yeah.
I am only thankful to and grateful to you for
Okay.
your
Thank you, Dada.
explanations.
See, this adhyaya, as said in the last session, 13th adhyaya is little difficult to understand. So to tell a lot of anecdotes, stories is important so that we understand the meaning of this adhyaya. If we go by the wordly meaning of the shlokas, it does not make great sense. Unless we go through the hidden meaning of every word, what it contains. That's why the telling of stories, it helps to know the hidden meaning of what Paramatma expects from us. Like this last shloka we discussed on Upadrashtanumanta. This shloka I like very much. Because it tells us, it introduces us to the different roles of God in us.
Yes.
Anjali ji.
Jai Shri Krishna Dada.
Jai Shri Krishna.
The question is not exactly related to 13th chapter. Overall in Gita, Prakriti and Purush.
Yeah.
So can you please explain these concepts? Many a times it happens that people consider Purush means Purush and Prakriti is Stree. So Prakriti is not Stree. Whatever you told is something different. So can you please elaborate?
Yeah. See, when we say Gita, in many places Gita says Purush, Purush, Purush. That does not mean the male. Purush is the soul. Purush is the one who is occupying the Pur. Pur is our body.
So
Navadvare Pure Dehi. In fifth adhyay we learn Navadvare Pure Dehi. So this Navadvar Pur, the one who stays in this is Purush. Now it is equally valid for the females also. So even female is a Purush because the soul of female also stays in the same body. So Purush is not necessarily only the male. That is one thing. Secondly, you said about the Prakriti. Paramatma has created Prakriti. It is a Paramatma's creation only, Prakriti, because he does not want to interfere in the daily functioning of the universe. He has given that job to the Prakriti. It is not possible for Paramatma to handle every action of every individual that is created in the cosmos, in the Prakriti, in the universe. So
Huh.
that job is given to Prakriti, and Prakriti also does not interfere it daily. It has created 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo. So the mix of Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, past samskars, is the crux of karmas that happen through the human beings. If you cleanse the past sanskars, your karmas become better and better. If you don't cleanse past sanskars, and if you continue to do the same way as you have been doing for all the lives that you have lived so far, then you are not attaining the purpose for which you have been given the human life. God is expecting that when you are under Prakriti, you are supposed to break Maya. So this intellect, what God has given, it has the strength. The mind that God has given, the Prakriti has given, it has the strength to break Paramatma's Maya and reach up to him. But unless we break the Maya, we cannot reach up to him.
So, like Prakriti is like Indriya? I mean, the doer?
Now, Prakriti is a mix of Sharir, Man, Indriya, Buddhi, and our Aham. Everything is Prakriti.
Okay.
So, whatever is, all actions that we take through body, mind, senses, intellect is under Prakriti. That is Prakriti.
Dhanyavad.
Okay.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I think all the questions are done. This explanation was very clear. So we can now move to the prayer.
Okay.
For the prayer, I'd like to call upon. First of all, for the before the prayer gets started, we'd like to thank you, the tech team, consists of Dakshina Didi and all the tech members who have taken part in this Vivechan Satra. Now we'll call upon for the prayer Avinash Kaleji from Nagpur, electric engineer, retired from private sector, serving as a group coordinator in L1 and L2, and also in calling team. Joined Geeta Pariwar in March 2024. I would like to call Avinash ji.
जी दीदी वो नहीं आ रही, आप ले लीजिए.
Why you need to unmute yourself?
वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं.
Okay, Avinadana, we can also say Yogesham Satchidanandam Vasudevam Brajapriyam Dharma Sanstapakam Veeram Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So this is normally the ending prayer, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Okay. Can we go ahead with the Hanuman Chalisa now?
Yes, now thank you for the prayer. Now I'll move to the Hanuman Chalisa. If being in the mute, everyone can chant Hanuman Chalisa. Okay.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार. जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा गानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबेको आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिंह दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही समभाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरई हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
Thank you everyone for joining this session. We'll meet on next week. Till then, learn Gita, teach Gita, and live